Hello, we had a sunny day here today, so I did some more testing of the Omnibus F4 Pro running Arduplane on this Tech Sumo. I didn't repair that other Tech Sumo, I just threw it away because I remembered that I had this one, which is not anywhere near as fragile as the other one. It's got this huge chunk of plywood there and a big carbon fibre spar running through there, and it's all wood up through that middle section, which is going to be the first place to hit the ground if we have any events like last time. So I'm not foreseeing any breakages of this. And to be honest, I didn't really need to do all that much testing, because from what I did last time I was pretty satisfied that it was working, as long as you get the CG in the right place, which I think I did this time. But yeah, so all I did extra today was a few missions, or I just set up a simple mission, and I just used the mission reset switch to have it go over and over and over until I ran out the battery basically, and I didn't see any problems. It flew fine. It's a bit heavy. This without the battery it's 660 grams and the battery I think is 160 or something, so it's getting a bit heavy. So the motor was, it's cold, but it was, at least it sounded like it was working a bit hard, and the current was going over 20 amps at some point. So yeah, I think for this weight that's probably about normal. It's like, it wasn't extremely unusual, but yeah, I think in the long term something a little bit lighter and more I was going to say more fragile, but not necessarily fragile, but doesn't need to be this strong and tough in the middle. A little bit less weight would probably be more advantageous. So there's not really too much video to show because I didn't put a camera on. It was, as I mentioned, it's already quite heavy. So all I could show you is my hat cam footage, which is kind of boring because you can't really see the plane too well. So I might just cut the video here. If I can find a few clips from my hat cam footage that were vaguely interesting, I'll put them at the end of this. Otherwise, yeah, it works. Thanks for watching. It's just under half throttle, so it's not too bad for power requirements. Headwind here. Alright, let's try some auto tune. Not much of a glide slope. It's a bit on the heavy side, but it seems to be flying okay. Alright, fly-by-wire B. Just turn around. Letting go. Okay, I guess. It's not too good at maintaining its altitude when it turns downwind, but it does pick it back up again. Right, let's do a return to home. It's alright, I think. Okay, now it's going to turn to go clockwise. That seems okay. I'll just let it do a few return home circles and see how that goes. It looks pretty good at the moment. Oh boy, this is hard to fly. Alright, mission. Wasn't quite high enough. Never seems to be high enough. So it's going to get to about here and then turn that way again. Looks really good. That's good though, nice and smooth there. So let's make it do a full U-turn when I reset the mission. And as usual, that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? I thought, what if we change out of that and then into auto again? What's it doing? Mission reset. It's doing something. Oh, that seemed to work. Yeah, it's doing the mission again, okay. But that's really strange, like why... I thought just using the mission reset switch on its own would be enough to reset the mission, and I'm pretty sure I've done that before. Oh, maybe... Okay, let's try this again. Mission reset. Yeah, it does work, sorry. So the only reason why it looked like it wasn't working before is because it had to do a complete U-turn, and it did it quite slowly, so... Plus it was going in the same direction as a normal return to launch loiter was going, so it just looked like it wasn't doing the mission, but I think it was. Battery voltage 11.2 under load, so it's still plenty of time. Let's give it another mission. Okay, so it's the same as before. It looks like it's doing the return to launch loiter still, but it's actually entered into the mission, but it just has to turn around the same way as the loiter circle was going. Or did it? No, it didn't. It's still doing return to launch. Oh, the mode has changed to return to launch now. It's not auto mode anymore. Oh, is that what the return to launch command does? Okay, so that's why I have to go out of auto and back into auto again. And now it should go and do the mission, right? Some rather confusing aspects to this whole thing. That kind of makes sense, but not really, to my mind. Yeah, so it switches into RTL there, huh? Okay. As long as you know what it's going to do, I suppose, it's not a problem. $23 amps. Ooh. Well, the ESC should be able to handle 30 amps. And the battery should be able to handle 50, so we're not really in danger of over-speccing anything. Okay, I just thought I might do a test that I haven't done before, and that is to turn the transmitter off. It's just doing the mission. Yeah. That's weird. I thought it would it goes into circle mode first and then it should do return to launch, but it's just continuing on with the mission. Huh. Okay. Maybe that's a setting I can change, but it's probably okay, to be honest. Alright, let's do... This is tricky because I have to put throttle to 0 and turn it into manual mode for a moment. Okay. Right, what if it's in fly-by-wire A mode like this, and I do... What if I turn the radio off in this situation? Let me just turn it around so that it's not going to cause any trouble. If it goes out that way, it should be alright. Alright, so transmitter off. Something happened. Okay, now it's doing return to launch. Alright, so it just doesn't do that when it's in auto mode. That's good to know, isn't it? I'll just let it turn around before I try and switch this back on. Alright, this is a bit of a nuisance actually, that you have to have these switches in a certain position to get the radio to turn on. I wish you could change that. That's really, really annoying. Throttle down, I can sort of understand that restriction, but that you also need to have all your switches up as well is just a pain in the ass. Right, well, this battery must be just about done. Oh, look at that, it's continuing on with the waypoint that it... Where's that? Oh yeah, that makes sense, yeah, that's right. Oh, that was a good test, everything works nicely. Cool. Everything works fine. Well, I didn't test any launches and landings. I mean, auto takeoffs and auto landings, but yeah, had enough of that from last time. But I don't think I'm going to be using those too much anyway. But for my purposes, you know, mission, return to launch, fly-by-wire A and B, and everything works pretty well.